What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow, and today I have a gear review on the Hit and Move All-Day Agility Pro Training Gloves.
I can do this all day.
Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today I have the Hit and Move All-Day Agility Pro Training Gloves. I'm excited because this is my first video back in a few weeks because, as you know, if you follow the Facebook and Instagram pages or even the YouTube video I posted, I had an emergency appendectomy last week. That's when they take your appendix out very urgently. Mine almost blew. I won't go into it too much other than recovery is going very well, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone reaching out, giving me love and support, and wishing me well. Recovery is going very good. I'm able to get up and move and do things of my own. I'm very happy I'm able to actually sit down and make a setup for a video. I'm also really excited for this video because I always wondered what it would be like to go back in time and ask Clitorius, what was your process going into your first pair of gloves? Or go back to the guy that created Winning or any type of big brand, or sit down with Elvis Grant and talk to them. How did the design process, or how did you sit down and think about this? And I was able to do that with these gloves, with Ozzy, the owner of Hit and Move. I was able to sit down with him over the phone and talk to him for, I'd like to say, almost an hour, just about these gloves and about his process with Hit and Move. And before I go into the video itself, I'd like to say this is not endorsed by Hit and Move whatsoever. I'm not paid by Hit and Move. In fact, I paid for these gloves myself outright, so it all came out of my pocket, trust me. I'm just really excited because I was able to sit down and speak to the man that decided to make a really cool product and learn everything I could about these gloves, which is something really unique to me. Now, going into the start of Hit and Move, Ozzy basically started it. I can't remember the exact year. I like to say it's early 2021, if not late 2020 is when it officially became a business. It was because Ozzy and his wife got into boxing as a hobby. And basically, they got the cheap Everlast gloves that you get from Dick's Sporting Goods, and he thought that they sucked. His hands hurt, and other people in the gym, their hands hurt, and they thought they were just garbage. He also explained the company's name to his wife, Hit and Move. That's what the sport is, and it's actually trademark pending, which is really cool if you see the little TM right there at the bottom, which is really interesting. The fact that something that we use in the boxing world could be trademarked pretty quick is kind of funny. You got Hit and Move, Stick and Move too. That should be another company, Stick and Move for footwear. Why not? But or maybe that could be the name of shoes. See, Ozzy, I'm giving you ideas. No, I'm just joking. But at the end of the day, he basically said, you know what? I think I could make gloves a lot better. And he was actually watching one of my videos, which was an Everlast Elite review, one of my very first videos. And apparently in that video, he's able to quote me better than myself, said, the thing is with those is that I wish I could get into them and cut them open and see what's inside every pair of gloves. Although I've researched all the materials, the leathers, the foams, the linings, the stitching, everything that goes into it in the process, I never had the heart to cut open a pair of gloves because, for one, I love every pair of gloves, even if I think they suck. I love them because it's still a work of art. It's a craft, and I love it. But Ozzy was able to do what I couldn't do, and that was cut open a pair of gloves. I won't name brand names, but he cut open a lot of pairs, basically, and said, this foam is better for this foam is better for this. What if you were to put them all together and make your own thing, basically? And that's basically what he did. And he researched, studied, and looked into the best materials, looked over different brands that weren't just boxing related, like looking into different brands that make really expensive, like purses or books or briefcases. What's the lining made out of? What's this? Which is really, really cool and interesting, something I never even thought about. It's kind of like when Trevor Whitman talked about making the Onyx gloves, and he did like snowboarding material and stuff that astronauts use and other things for the inside lining for the Onyx gloves. And that's the same thing that you kind of get here, is that he outsourced and look at a lot of other places. The other thing that he didn't do is just take his logo, make one, and send it out to a guy that makes something in Pakistan or China and Alibaba or someplace. and basically give them the logo and then make a bunch of gloves, which is what a lot of companies do. And he said that's not a company, that's a salesperson. You're just trying to make a quick dollar, and that's not what he's trying to do. He's doing this for the pure love of it. So he has a few other products out there. He has these all-day Agility Pros, which is kind of their staple glove right now, I would say. And then they just released their premium model, which has a grained leather, which basically you can see the grains going across the top there. I won't go too into detail other than grained leather is basically when you shave the top part of the grain off so you get rid of all the imperfections. So it is really that high density or high quality cowhide is what you get. And that's what you get on these too. But I'll go into that when we talk about the make and the look of the glove. Now, when we talk about the company too, they also have a reflex trainer, which is where they started out. And they didn't, well, like I said, they didn't reach out to Alibaba and just do this. They actually designed it themselves, looked through a lot of other companies out there, and decided to, make it their own. And basically had all the materials that they wanted them to use and brought it to a manufacturer. The other cool thing about Hit and Move, them being so new, is that there's a new pro by the name of Jaleel Hackett, and I'll put a link to his Instagram or something in the description below so you can kind of look into him on his Instagram or something. But he's a new pro, and he actually did a test for his first pro fight, and he was able to test Everlast Elites, Rival Guerreros, Adi Speeds, like the pro fight gloves, and a bunch of other gloves. And there were a few blind tests done about other gloves out there for a few people. And then they were able to give them the Hit and Move, and basically they said, no, these are the best out of the group. And then Jaleel Hackett picked these for his pro fight gloves. Once again, out of Everlast Elite, MX, Grant, Reyes, and I want to say the Rival Guerrero were the ones that he told me, which is insane, because those things are staples in the world. These are brand new. Now, finally going into the gloves themselves, now that I'm done with some of the stuff when it comes to the company itself, you obviously know that you got a really cool company when they reach out to you. But another thing that I love about this company is that when they send you these gloves, they come in these nice bags. It says Hit and Move with the Hit and Move logo up there, and it says all day. And then it comes with this little packet here. And it basically tells you how to take care of your gloves. I'll basically summarize it. The top says, "Dear athlete, your Hit and Move leather boxing gloves are most important equipment, investment, and quality glove. But like your bag and your opponent, boxing gloves take a beating." And then it basically tells you how to take care of your gloves all the way throughout this. So that's really cool that the company itself wants you to take good care of these of your equipment. And a good thing about that is it's telling you that they don't want them to just crap out, so you buy more and more and more from them. A lot of people, like where I work, you want people to come in once or twice, but you eventually want them to stop coming or to come very rarely. That way it means that you're doing your job right, and that means that they're starting to do things on their end, and that's basically what you're getting with these gloves. Now, when we go into the look of these gloves, before we go into the design, both gloves are the same, and I'll take the left one like I usually do. The back of it is an all black punching surface, and you get the same thing on the thumb. Only thing is on the thumb, I love the gold athletic lettering, and it says all day. Now, he calls these gloves all day because he truly believes with the padding design that he made and the way that they are, that you can hit, you can spar, you can hit the bag, you can do whatever it is, the mitts, whatever. And you can do it for all day, and it's a simple name for it, and I love the fact that you can do that, because you get a lot of people that say, I can do this all day, and I tell you what, you got that with these gloves. And the name itself gives it away. But going back into it, once again, all nice shiny black punch surface, and then on the back it says Hit and Move. Which way do I have that? There we go. You got the Hit and Move logo, which is a really cool logo, and then in white lettering and red lettering, and it says all day right underneath it. And there's a trademark. Once again, can't believe that's being trademarked. That's really cool. When we go back to the back of the wrist strap, it says the same thing, Hit and Move, all day in gold lettering once again. And then it says also on the other side of the wrist strap, you have the Hit and Move logo with gold piping going across it. Now, when we get to the palm of the glove, you can see that we have a really nice shiny red coloring, which is a really cool design. It looks like royalty with the gold and red here. And then we have a white strip to the thumb on the inside, the thumb piping, which is a really interesting thing. I really love this shiny red to it. It's a metallic color. And then it tells you genuine leather stamp, basically telling you that it is real, genuine leather. It is cowhide leather. And then it says designed in the USA. So these gloves are indeed designed. Like I said, Ozzy designs all these gloves in the US of A. They are produced somewhere else though. But that's most companies will do that, but I tell you what, there's other companies that tell you that they're designed and made in the USA. I won't name names, title, and they're all made in China. So that's a different story. And then, of course, you come down here and it tells you which ounces you got, and that is 16. Now, these come in two different colorways. You get this, and you also get a neon green version. I believe they go anywhere from 12 to 16 ounces, if not 14 to 16. I can't remember the exact ounces that it comes with. But when we talk about the design of the glove, that's where I really get excited. When we talk about the outer shell, it is a genuine cowhide leather. It's a very luxurious style of leather. It's very shiny. It has that nice hue to it, which is great. It's very good for my camera. You can see everything pops out really clear. And you can also tell with these that they are not, they're sublimated onto it. They're not like a cheap screen print that's going to wear off after a while, which is always a good sign. The other thing about these gloves is the padding itself. He actually uses something called the Dr. T dart padding. And basically the way it works is, this is a really cool analogy I never thought of. You have different forms of padding. One's like a sponge foam, one's like a springy foam, and then a sponge foam on top of it again. It's a bunch of different foams on the inside of this glove, and it's kind of like mixing all the greatest gloves in the world and combining them into one to make them the best glove, period, is basically what his goal was, and that's what you get with this. It's not too firm, it's not too soft, it's the perfect in between. And the best part is, it's a true trainer's glove, because you don't have to switch gloves to spar, you don't have to switch gloves to hit bags or mitts. You can do everything in these gloves, and that's why I love training gloves that actually adhere to this, but these do it just a step better because of that dart padding. It's a very well balanced glove. As you can see, it's not going one way or the other. It's balancing right on the center of my hand. I can't really do two fingers because then at that point that'd be weird. But if I do it like this, on all four of my fingers, it's very equally balanced. It's not going one way. If I do this, the top of it isn't going to start flopping forward like a lot of gloves do out there. He calls it the dart padding because he took the padding when he made it all together and glued it together and threw it straight to see if it curved down or went up. It went directly forward. He called it the dart because when you want a good dart, when you're playing darts, you want it to go directly forward. You don't want it to curve up or down, go side to side, and that's what you get with these. So it's probably, honestly, the best well-balanced glove I've ever had as far as weight, and it weighs right on the dot, 16 ounces. I think it was 16.32 ounces or something like that. It wasn't, or 16.032 or something like that. It was a weird weight that my scale told me. I think it was 16.03. And so it's right on the money there, and with that nice padding on the inside, it's very well balanced. When you punch, my arm isn't going down, up. It doesn't feel like it's too light, doesn't feel like it's too heavy. It feels perfect. It just feels like you put something on your hand that's become part of you, which is a really unique feeling that a lot of gloves I feel miss. Now, that leather on the outside is super durable. It's very easy to clean, and it's very easy to keep clean. The Velcro that you have is very durable here. That Velcro is black, as it usually would be, and the strapping here is super, super nice as well. You also get the stitching, which is all double line stitching going down the bottom here, as you see. And then we also have that separated thumb too, okay? That means that they basically split the thumb and made that separate as well, like most Japanese style gloves do. It also gives you more range of motion with your thumb, so you can move it a little bit more, so you're not completely jammed like this the whole time inside the glove, which can be uncomfortable. It also tucks it in with the thumb attachment here, so it's not jamming your thumb in like that. It's a natural punch in a natural fist like you would with this. It's not like a lot of gloves that put your thumb out to the side. It's right here like it should be, which is really, really nice. The inside is the all dry padding, which is really cool. It has, I don't know if you can see that too well, but it has the Hit and Move logos all the way throughout that. And the easiest way to word it is that the lining itself is padded too. So it really keeps the weight consistent on the inside of the glove. And the all dry padding on the inside, the easiest way I can word it, guys, is when you put it in, I always say it kind of feels like a dry fit pillow. And it does feel exactly like a dry fit pillow to me, especially up towards the top. It's very soft on my knuckles to cushion them. But of course, you got that nice rebound here, and it still springs off a little bit. And it pushes in, bounces right back. And to give you that kind of like that Reyes style test, you pull it in, and it pops right back out. But the top layer, I believe it's a top layer, and the bottom layer is very soft, so it still takes a little bit to morph back at the same time. So you got that really nice pop to these punches. And the inside lining, going back to that, is really comfortable. And what's insane about it is that it dries out as you're using it almost. I've taken my gloves off with hand wraps, without hand wraps, to really give these gloves a shot to see how well this all dry material is. Very rarely have I had to leave these out for more than 2 or 3 minutes. Like, I've taken them off after sparring, put them off to the side, and then I go and pick them up about 2 minutes later, and they're completely dried off, which is insane. So it's a very dry, it's actually a pretty cool, meaning temperature-wise, cool feel on your hands. It does not get too hot on the inside of the glove, which is very important because a lot of people don't want to be uncomfortable with that. And there's tons of space on the inside. There's a lot of room to put my knuckles, or like to wrap my hands. I could put a really big professional hand wrap on this and still wear it, because the part, I wish I could like get a stethoscope type camera or something and put it in with a light so you can see that it's like a pillow. It's like if I were to do this basically, and it raises like this. See how my hoodie raises? It raises like this as you put the wraps on. So it makes room for your hand and it makes adjustments. It's also very compact at the same time. So you have the space in the right areas, but there's not too much space on the sides. So the glove doesn't move around a whole awful lot. And I tell you what, the wrist strapping is really nice. Okay, the wrist support is amazing. It really puts me in that natural position, and it snaps me back. If I pull up, it snaps me back. Pull down, it snaps me back. Side to side, snaps me back. And the wrist support's very good. And like I said, it's not too heavy. The grip you can get off this is actually better than some Thai gloves I've had out there. Like, I'll even use a brand name. I love Fairtex, but I think these have better grips than a lot of Fairtex gloves out there. I really have good cushion on the fingers too at the same time, and the wrist is padded with your usual, I imagine your usual high density foam padding on the side, and the grip bar is very padded as well. It's very comfortable, which is a really, really unique feeling when it comes to these gloves. And you can also get these in a lace-up version as well, if you really just want them specifically for boxing and you don't want the Velcro. But the Velcro is very, very durable. You know, so far, like, I'm talking about these gloves like they're awesome, but how do they actually work when it comes to bag work and when it comes to like sparring and all those things? Well, let's go into the sparring view and to the bag work, and you can see exactly what I think about these gloves in action. When it comes to hitting the bags or the mitts with these gloves, they give such a nice sound to it. It has, like it says on the website, a great pop to it. I also love using these for MMA and kickboxing training because they are so well balanced and they have such good grips, a lot better than a lot of other Muay Thai brands actually. I love hitting the bags with these also because, like it says on the website, not only does it have a good pop, but because of that dart padding, it's so well balanced. When you punch, it just glides off your shoulders, glides off your body, and it just feels like something's on top of your hand, or rather a part of your hand rather than on top of it, and you know, adding 16 ounces to your hand. I can hit the bag as hard as I want, although I'm going a little slow, but you can let your punches go as fast as you want. You don't have to worry about injuring yourself with these because of the padding on them. It's honestly a really impressive glove. I absolutely love hitting the bags with these. You can go all day. So giving you a look of both gloves up close with a nice pop and hit and move coming right at you. I love that logo. I love these gloves look like royalties, kind of like if you looked at a King's robe because of the gold piping with the red sheen, and then you got a really nice black hue to it. So it looks basic, but also like it does catch your eye. I know a lot of guys in the gym really liked how my gloves looked when I first put these on. They're nice and even. I even just punched my my camera there, but these gloves look awesome. I think you're gonna really enjoy getting punched by these. All right, so the final verdict on the Hit and Move All Day Agility Pro training gloves. They are by far one of the most favorite gloves I've ever used up to this date. And you know what? There's a few out there that I was able to put on and immediately enjoy the break-in process and everything about them. And I tell you what, these gloves I think are just phenomenal. I think Ozzy finally did something that I really wish I could do. The big thing with me now is they just have to pass the time test. I got to use them for a long time. You know, I've had these for only almost 3 months. I want to use these for over a year or two and see if they would take my #1 spot. But right now, I tell you what, it's coming to a point to where I haven't really used a whole lot of other gloves unless they were for the channel than these. I love sparring in these. I love hitting the bags with these. I love hitting the mitts with these. Obviously, I use bag gloves for specific things, but it's like when in doubt, I go and reach for these now, which is awesome. I still reach for my Reyes. Trust me, I'll never abandon my Reyes gloves. I love those things, but you know what? These are a pretty close second right now. I'm really impressed with these. talking about the design of the glove, for one, when we go back to the padding system, is I love gloves that stay consistent. There is no soft spots that have developed. There's no like dense bubbles or anything. The padding hasn't bubbled. Nothing has been ruined about the padding of the glove, and it stayed consistent. Now, obviously, when you get these out of the box, they're going to be a little stiff, as all gloves will be. But these right off the bat, I can tell you, you know, they didn't come out like hard as a rock. They didn't come out looking horrible. They didn't come out with anything particularly wrong with them at all. And some gloves do. They come out way too stiff. You gotta hit the bag for 20 rounds or something like that before you can go spar with them, which sucks. These, I was able to spar with these the first day I got them, which is sometimes you can't do that with these gloves. But the thing is, I feel like the padding design that they make it, that dart padding, once again, it's so well balanced. And even as a puncher, I throw at least 100 punches around if I'm on a bag, or even if I spar, I try and throw 50 through 100, or really try and move my hands. And the fact that the padding hasn't changed whatsoever, besides get a little bit softer, as most gloves would, is amazing. And it stays consistent. There's no dead spots or anything, which is something you gotta watch out for with some gloves. And you know, every brand is guilty of it. You know, depends on the materials you use. So that dart padding being so even and so, you know, not only is it so even and so well balanced, as you can see here, it's balancing on one finger basically. You know, it's very comfortable. The thumb is very mobile. It has very good grip. So if you're using this for Muay Thai or MMA sparring, you can do that just fine. And the other thing about them is the materials that they're made out of. It's a very high quality leather, and it's very easy to clean and keep clean. The only thing about it is some metallic leathers, as this has done a little bit over the last couple months, you can see like it's super red here, and then it's faded a little bit there, here or there, which is going to happen when you grind and do stuff with these. But I tell you what, that's such a niche complaint, I wouldn't even worry about it, because I don't think the whole palm is going to do that. And if you notice, actually, it's just the areas of where the wrist strap was by putting the wrist strap on. That's all it is. So it's probably just this kind of, you know, scraping and grinding against it. If you had lace-ups, I don't think it would do it, period. And I don't think these are going to fade off. The logos have not faded off whatsoever. They look completely fine, which a lot of gloves out there, even Reyes, my beloved Reyes, is guilty of the logos wearing off relatively quick because they're printed on pretty cheap. But with these, they're very durable, and it's very, you know, professionally done. The other thing about it is that the lining doesn't fray or anything. That was my big worry when I put this lining on, because I've seen companies try and pull this lining off before, and it would kind of fray and stitches would go out or little threads would pop out. It hasn't happened with this yet. In fact, if anything, it got more comfortable over time, which is a really cool thing. And I love the little logos that they put on the inside here too. That's something I wish more companies did. The lining on the inside is it's not baggy, it's not too tight, it doesn't grind against my knuckles in any way. So if you're one of those guys that uses gloves without wrapping your hands, which, you know, once again, shame on you, but you could do that and get away with that without damaging the gloves, so long as you take care of the gloves. And you know what? Here's a cool thing about the company. They give you a whole guide on how to take care of your gloves. And I bet if you message Hit and Move on Instagram, he'd tell you exactly how to take care of them. And that's the cool thing about these gloves, is that they're very receptive. The company alone boosts these gloves up a lot because they will take care of you. If you don't like these gloves, he'll talk to you. He'll say, you know, what can I do? Do you want to try another pair? Maybe it was a manufacturing error. What do you think happened? And I love that about companies like Hit and Move. And what Ozzy will do for you, he'll go head over heels for you. You know what I mean? And he'll, or above the moon, rather. I forget the actual phrase, but you get what I'm trying to say. The other thing is that he's very honest with you. You know, these are completely designed in the U.S. They are made somewhere else, but everything has been designed in the U.S. of A. Everything came from the guy himself, and he's very innovative. And that's the thing I love about these, is that he's actually actively trying to change a glove technology. He's not trying to just take, say, like Title does with like Promex, which is their Reyes line, or their Fury, or their fighting line, which is the winning line. He took his own thing and made it. And that's the thing, is that he's being very innovative about it. And it's a very high quality glove from such a new company. I mean, you already got pros that are preferring to use these, like Jaleel Hackett, although he's a new pro. It's insane that he's able to sit there, but he has experienced coaches and management around him that have been around the game for 40 years that put these on and say it puts all these other brands to shame, which is just baffling, especially in less than a year, you know, of these really being around. They do have a few other gloves that you can get. You can get their Pro Fight gloves, which I plan on trying, although I don't really collect Pro Fight gloves, you know, just because of this company and what they did. I'm curious to know what they did with these. The other thing I'm excited to try is their premium line, which is basically the premium line is the same exact glove, just about. It's the all-day glove. And it's just a different grained leather. So you'll actually see the grains, and I imagine it'll probably have a stronger scent to it, like a lot of other companies, or a lot of other leathers would. The other cool thing about these is the price. You know, when you talk about some of the higher end gloves out there, you're talking about $200, and you know what? You're in that price range here. You're actually at $160. I think they raised the price just a little bit more, I would imagine, because I think when I bought these, they were $120 or $130, but they're $160, and I think at that, it's a steal. I think there's gloves out there that are, you know, $100 through $160 or $200 or more that do not perform as good as these gloves. And this is where I will name a few brands. I like these a lot more than I do Winning. I like these more than I do, you know, say some top boxer brands and Ringside than Reyes in some aspects, which is insane. And then I like them a lot more than like Grant's and a bunch of other brands out there. I think these pull everything off and they adhere to you, which is something cool. I think this is really a glove that's designed for everybody, because he really made these because he felt a lot of people going out buying like these Dick's Sporting Goods gloves or something and really hurting themselves at his local gym, or seeing people that couldn't get a good pair of gloves. He made these for that purpose, and that's the thing I love about these. And I love the story behind it. So if you had to, you know, tell me what my rating would be for everybody and myself, personally, I give them a 12 out of 10. I think they're beyond great. And I think for everybody, it's a 10 out of 10, because I don't really see a whole lot of people that would not enjoy these gloves. I actually gave them to a pro out of my gym and said, use these for a few days. Let me know how you feel. When I had my appendectomy for you know, a few days of my training, I drove up to the gym and said, here, try these. And he wanted a pair immediately after. And he had a pair of Reyes that he'd been using for a while. He used Reyes, Title, Twins, and a lot of other brands. And he says these were the best brands that he had so far. And it's a pro MMA guy that's had, you know, 30 plus fights in boxing, kickboxing, and then an MMA too, which is insane. So when you have things like that, it really should speak to you as, should I give these gloves a try? And for the price range, I think that's a steal. I think $160 for these is not bad. And if you want to spend about $200, you can get, it's $189, but it's $200, I imagine, with shipping and stuff, would be your, you know, the premium gloves. They also have the Pro Fight gloves, which are $229. Then they have this really, really cool reflex trainer that I really want to get my hands on when I have the money to do so, and buy myself, because I'd be really excited to give those a shot. They have a really cool reflex trainer, and they innovated how they make that too, which is crazy. They use different springs and balls. I can't really explain it because I don't understand it like I do these. But I tell you what, if you want a really well-balanced glove, that's good. If you have brittle hands, if you're a puncher, if you like a bigger glove, it's pretty compact, but you know, it's decent enough to protect me, and it's good for your sparring partners. It's going to have a long shelf life. You know, I've only had them for 3 months, but I imagine these gloves will probably get me a good, of consistent beat-down use, at least 4 to 5 years, if you take very good care of them. If you don't, then still, I'd say a good 3 to 4 years. They're going to last you a while because they were built to last. So that's the thing about these gloves I'm really excited about. So if you have any questions or comments, of course, put them in the comment section below. Excuse me. Send them out to the Instagram page, the Facebook page, and I'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible. I know I got a lot of people that reached out when I had my appendectomy, so I really appreciate it. I got over 40 messages, and some of them involve gloves. But if you want the glove counseling, as some people have called it, go ahead and message me. I'd be very happy to do that. But I really think if you're looking for something for one, if you're a collector of gloves, I think you should really look into these and really appreciate what they've done here, because I think they've made a glove that truly works for everybody at a professional level. These are professional grade gloves, so I tell you what, I'd give them to a beginner, and I'd give them to an intermediate guy. I'd give them to someone that just walked off the street and said, you gotta try these out, and I think they'd like them. And that's the thing about these. But once again, you have any questions about these or anything, also go to Hit and Move on their Instagram and let them know, hey, I have a question about these gloves. Can you tell me more about them? And they'll probably let you know pretty quick too. I really see Hit and Move taking over the market over the next couple of years. I think you're going to see a lot more pro fighters start to use these gloves in their pro fights and in their training days, because I think finally someone hit the nail on the head perfectly for what I look for in a pair of gloves. I think these guys really went out of the way and did it. So Ozzy, thank you so much for making one of my favorite gloves so far, even though I've only had them for 3 months, 2 or 3 months. And I tell you what, I'm excited about these guys. So if you ever are looking to get a very good pair of high quality gloves, I would recommend you look into Hit and Move. All right, once again, not sponsored by Hit and Move. I just really like what they did here. I'm very impressed. All right, folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you this gear review. And as always, have a great day. I'll see you on the next episode.